The tiny Torah scroll fits right in the palm of his hand. He brought the Torah to outer space. And the first person to bring a Torah scroll to outer space, because he was the first Israel astronaut in outer space. Well, Israel astronaut. Okay.
And what happened to him?
On the spaceship, they had kosher food for him to eat, and on February 1st, 2003, this spaceship exploded, and 6 of them died, and 7 of them, one of them stayed alive because there were 7 astronauts. And this is him. And this is his Hebrew name.
Do you know anything about his parents?
No, it didn't say anything.
Were they Holocaust survivors?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And do you know what his son does? Or did?
No.
No. He went into the Air Force in Israel. Oh, you did a beautiful job. Did you enjoy reading the book?
Yes.
Would you recommend it to other people?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Did such a good job. Thank you. Oh, so you want to explain that?
So this is them in the spaceship, or at in the spaceship. So yeah, these were all the people who were on the spaceship and who are astronauts, and there he is. See if I can find the picture. So that's the little Torah scroll.
Oh.
I know there was more pictures. And that's them in the space.
Okay.
So there's the little Torah scroll again.
And did he take it on with that little wooden ark?
I'm not sure. Maybe to keep it safe, so I'd probably say yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, he brought it in it. So there's it again. And that's the rabbi he got it from. He was in the Holocaust. And that's his mom, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's his mom. And there's the rabbi. And reading out of the Torah scroll. And he had to leave his family. And they had to split up by girls and boys, but his son had to go with his mom. So they had to leave all their toys. And that's the mom sewing the star on.
Maybe that was the
jacket.
grandmother.
Yeah, it was either the grandma or the mom.
I think it was the grandma because I think she was in the Holocaust.
Yeah, and then there's the rabbi mad, and there's the Nazis. And there's the rabbi's family. So there's the Torah and him talking about it. So yeah.
Good.
So my person is Irving Berlin, and Okay, so first I'll show you three little snippets. Well, you can listen to three little things of songs that he wrote. So Irving Berlin wrote the famous God Bless America. So here's him singing. You know that song. Then the second song that I picked was Oh How I Hate to Get Up in the Morning. Anyways, well, that's it. The last song. The last song that I picked was This Is the Army. He wrote a lot of songs. I'll read about it. Okay, so you did that. So again, I did my presentation on Irving Berlin. Irving Berlin was born on May 11th, 1888. His birthplace was Tyumen in the Russian Empire. His birth name was actually Israel Isidore Baleen, but then he changed it to Irving Berlin. His death date was September 22nd, 1989. His birthplace was New York City, New York, United States. His occupation was a songwriter, lyricist, and composer. He was active from 1907 to 1971, and his religion or origin was Russian Jewish. Irving Berlin was a very creative and smart man. He worked very hard to compose and write music for the world to enjoy. Berlin's first song composed was Mary from Sunny Italy. Alexander's Ragtime Band was an international dance craze. During his 60-year career, he wrote about 1,500 songs. This includes scores for 19 Broadway shows, 18 Hollywood films, and his songs got nominated 8 times for Academy Awards. Some of his popular songs were Happy Holiday, This Is the Army, There Is No Business Like Show Business, Putting on the Ritz, White Christmas, and most importantly, God Bless America. Many of his songs became a huge success. Although Berlin had a very successful career, his early life was harder. One of his quotes, I only wrote part of it, but suddenly one day the Cossacks rampaged in a pogrom, and there was a whole long quote, but I didn't write all of it. So during his early life, because he was Jewish, a lot of pogroms were happening at that time, and everyone there was just so much bad things going on. So I have some pictures. Here's a picture of one of his songs that he wrote. It's the Easter Parade. There's a picture of Irving Berlin. And then I know you can't see it because it's in Sharpie, that's the only color that I have. But he was also an owner of the Music Box Theater, which is on Broadway. And yeah.
Very good. Were you surprised at how many secular Christmas songs and Easter songs?
I know that This Is the Easter Parade, because that's the song that I found on the internet. But surprisingly, when you think White Christmas and Happy Holiday, he wrote The Holiday Inn, which is about it's about a guy, and then it's like a band, and then they split up, and he buys a barn, and they put on shows for each holiday. So there's one there's a song that he wrote obviously for Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving. So he wrote a lot of Christmas songs, although he was Jewish.
Yeah. That's very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
I am doing Eli Cotton. Eli Cotton was born on December 26, 1928 in Alexandria, Egypt.
Oh, wait a minute.
I did Eli Cohen. Eli Cohen was born on December 26, 1928 in Alexandria, Egypt. In 1949, Eli's parents and 3 brothers moved to Israel while he stayed in Egypt to coordinate Jewish and Sinai activities there. Also, at the age 29, he offered his service to the Israel Intelligence Service, but was rejected twice. Then on August 31st, 1959, he married a beautiful woman, and also in early 1961, Chaimon Herzog, Chief of Military Intelligence, and later President of Israel, signed the document authorizing Cohen's use as a spy. Another thing was when the Ba'ath took power in 1963, Eli was firmly entrenched in Syrian high society. Also, he had 17 lovers in Syrian, all dazzling beauties with a fair degree of family power. So Eli hoped, as did Israel, intelliging him escape in a time of crisis. Another thing is Eli's friendship with Abram Hephes proved very valuable after Hephes became prime minister. Eli was even considered to be named the Syrian Deputy Minister of Defense.
Yeah, so what happened to him?
He died.
How?
I didn't do that.
Oh.
This is the promised land, Moses.
Hello, my name is Steven Spielberg. I was born on December 18, 1946. I am one of the most accomplished directors ever. When I was in school, I felt like an outsider. I was always getting made fun of, whether it was for not being good looking or not being good at sports. My mom and dad were Jewish. I felt different because nobody else was Jewish. I desperately needed a good friend. I thought a friendly alien would be nice. I never felt happy unless I had a camera in my hand. My mom gave my dad a camera for Father's Day. I was borrowing it so often that he eventually gave it to me. I was always filming. My first film was a Western movie with my Boy Scout troop, so I can earn my photography badge. With my camera, I felt less like an outsider. Soon a bunch of people at school were signing up to be casted in my movies. I made a lot of films. One of them was Fighter Squad, which was about World War II Air Force fighters. I was 16 when I won my first award for an amateur film called Escape to Nowhere. I was so happy. In high school, I went to Saratoga High. It was very boring. I did not want to see shows like Leave It to Beaver. One day, a man named Chuck Silvers found me. He was a film librarian from Universal Studios. Based on what I was wearing, he guessed I was not an actor. After a few minutes of talking, he gave me a 3-day pass to Universal. I was so excited, I felt like I would explode. When I came back, I found that there was not much security there, so I kept coming back. I found an abandoned office. I hooked up a phone and it became my office. I talked to directors and hung around movie sets, but I had to go back to high school for my senior year. I got rejected by the film school at University of Southern California. The only school who would take me for college was the California State College in Long Beach. I didn't want to go, but my parents said I had to. I was really mad, but since the USA was at war, if I didn't go to college, I would be drafted into the USA's Army. So I went to college. Eventually, I made a film called Amblin. It was about two hitchhikers. One was a boy and one was a girl. It was very funny. When Chuck Silver saw my movie, he called Sidney Sheinberg, who is an executive at Universal Television. After seeing my movie, he offered me a 7-year contract with the as a TV director. I started by directing Night Gallery, which was a horror story. I was working with Joan Crawford, a really, really old actress. A lot depended on this. Soon I had an office, a convertible, in my own house in Laurel Canyon. I made a lot of TV shows like Duel, which was a wordless, scary thriller. Another TV show I made was about a family so desperate to get their son back from a foster home that they became criminals and cops chased them across Texas. After that, I started to make the movie Sugarland Express. Even though critics liked it, it wasn't big with audiences. Not that many people liked it. Based on an unpublished book called Jaws, I made the movie version. It took place in Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts, which was a popular place for tourists. Then I made the Mechanical Shark. I named it Bruce after my lawyer. It was my most popular movie ever. When it came out, people loved it. That was the movie that made me famous. After that, I made a movie about aliens, which was called Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It was one of my first movies that did not have evil aliens. Then I became with another film director named George Lucas. I bet you have heard of him. He made the hit movie Star Wars: A New Hope. Together we made up a character named Indiana Smith. We decided to change his name to Indiana Jones and made a movie about him. It was called Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. A lot of people liked it. Soon people around the world knew the name Steven Spielberg. Then I made the family favorite E.T. the Extraterrestrial. It was based on the feelings I felt as a kid. Soon the phrase E.T. phone home was basically the catchphrase of the year. In 1984, I made Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which was a sequel to the first movie of Indiana Jones. Then I made the film Back to the Future. Then I made Jurassic Park, which was about people who recreate dinosaurs. Then they make a dinosaur park and the dinosaurs escape. Then I made a sad movie called Schindler's List, which was about the Holocaust. I made it to honor all the people who died in the Holocaust. The film won the Oscar for Best Feature Film in 1993, and I won my first award for Best Director. After the 1994 Academy Awards, I had exactly 5 children. There were Max, Jessica, Theo, Sasha, and Sawyer with my wife Amy Irvin. Then I joined more directors, and together we founded DreamWorks Studios. My first movie with DreamWorks was Amistad, which was for my adopted African-American son, Theo. In 2011, I made Adventures of Tintin based on a European comic strip. One of DreamWorks' other movie I made was Indiana Jones: Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls. When I finished Tintin, I could not believe that this had all happened because I had borrowed my father's camera.
Wow. Let's see your poster. Upside down. Whoa. Let's see. Oh, that's great. You did a really wonderful job. Okay, and you're gonna leave that here so we can enjoy it. Thank you, Jaden. Okay,
3 famous Jews.
a little louder, honey.
All right. 3 famous Jews. Who was Calvin Klein? Calvin Klein was born on November 19, 1942 in Bronx, New York. Calvin Klein started a fashion business called Calvin Klein Inc. In 1968, his first business product were coats and dresses. Calvin Klein soon started to sell sportswear, shirts, pants, shorts, and etc. How is Calvin Klein Jewish? Calvin Klein's parents were Hungarian Jewish immigrants. Today, Calvin Klein's clothing line has fulfilled what many people have dreamed. A great fashion icon. Who was Bibi Netanyahu? Bibi Netanyahu was born on October 21st, 1949 in Tel Aviv, Israel. Is Israel made a state a year before Bibi was born? Yes, it was. On May 14, 1948, Israel became a state. Bibi Netanyahu was born, I already said that. Bibi Netanyahu was born in Tel Aviv, Israel. I already said that. Bibi's family moved to the United States between the years 1956 and 1958, and they moved back and lived in Israel from 1963. Oh my God, the computer's messing me up. And moved back again. I'm sorry. This thing.
It's okay.
Bibi's family moved to the United States between the years 1956 and 1958, and they moved back to Israel from 1963 to 1967. Soon, Bibi Netanyahu moved back in Israel in 1967. When Bibi Netanyahu returned to Israel, he was a combat soldier for the Israeli army. After his army service, Bibi Netanyahu returned to the United States in 1972. He returned to Israel in October 1973 to serve in the Yom Kippur War for 40 days. In 1976, Bibi Netanyahu lost his older brother Yonatan Netanyahu because he was killed during an action of counterterrorism during a mission to save Israelis in Uganda. Bibi Netanyahu became Prime Minister of Israel in 1996 and defeated Shimon Peres and became the ninth
Shimon Peres.
and defeated the ninth became the ninth Prime Minister of the State of Israel until 1999. Bibi Netanyahu was probably best known as a war hero for Israel. Who was Diane von Furstenberg?
Diane von Furstenberg.
Diane von Furstenberg was born on December 31st, 1946 in Brussels, Belgium. In 1970, she started to design women's clothing. Her first invention of clothing is a wrap dress. How is she Jewish? Diane von Furstenberg's father was a Roman-born Jew who immigrated from Chisinau, a province of Romania, which is present day of the capital of Moldova, to Belgium. He and his wife were both Jews and Holocaust survivors. Diane's mother was from Greece. She was Lilian Namias. I personally like Diane von Furstenberg because most of my family are Holocaust survivors and most of my family are from Europe and my father was born in Chisinau. Are there any questions?
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes?
Was this made in the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
What year?
I don't know. I think
What
it's
year?
like 2010.
I forget.
James?
Do you have any questions about the people?
Yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
why did you pick 3 people?
I don't know. I don't know. I was actually gonna choose one, but then I ended up reading something off my report card, and then it said 3, and I'm like, I'm gonna make two more people.
For Calvin Klein,
Yeah.
how big is his business now?
Really big.
Like,
Because he has a lot of stores.
does he still own the company? Is he still alive?
I think he's still alive. He's like 65, around there. Around the same age as Israel. That's pretty young.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen Diane von Furstenberg's television show that's on every week?
No.
I've seen a little bit because my mom was watching it while I remember.
It's a good
know.
show.
Thank you for watching my presentation.
Very good.
And then this is Calvin Klein, Phoebe Netanyahu, and Diane von Furstenberg.
Next by Colby Turner. Sandy was one of the greatest left-handed pitchers in baseball. He was known as the man with the golden arm. Sandy was born in Brooklyn, New York, to Evelyn and Jack Braun. His parents divorced when he was 3, and his mom remarried Lorraine Koufax. He preferred to play basketball instead of baseball when he was young. He didn't pitch his first game until he was 15 years old. Sandy spent most of his time playing basketball at the Jewish Community Center. After graduation, he went to University of Cincinnati, and studied architecture on a basketball scholarship. He tried out on the school's baseball team by chance. He had been scouted first by the Pittsburgh Pirates and later the Dodgers and the Milwaukee team. In 1954, the Brooklyn Dodgers signed Sandy when he was 19 years old to a contract worth about $20,000 with a bonus $14,000.
Stop.
Sandy was one of the greatest left-handed pitchers in baseball. He was known as the man with the golden arm. Sandy was born in Brooklyn, New York, to Evelyn and Jack Braun. His parents divorced when he was 3, and his mom remarried Lorraine Koufax. He preferred to play basketball instead of baseball when he was young. He didn't pitch his first game until he was 15 years old. Sandy spent most of his time playing basketball at the Jewish Community Center. After graduation, he went to University of Cincinnati and studied architecture on a basketball scholarship. He tried out on the school's baseball team by chance. He had been scouted first by the Pittsburgh Pirates and later the Dodgers and then the Milwaukee team. In 1954, the Brooklyn Dodgers signed Sandy when he was 19 years old to a contract worth about $20,000 with a $14,000 bonus. Sandy was a very wild pitcher. He was inconsistent and often lacked control. With the guidance of pitching coach Joe Becker and Norm Sherry, a Jewish catcher, he learned to throw more curveballs and changeups. The 1961 series brought him 18 wins, and he struck out 269 batters for a league record. In 1962, he developed a blood clot in his arm that almost cost him his index finger. But he pulled through, and in 1963 he won 2 games against the Yankees in the World Series. In 1965, the World Series game fell on Yom Kippur. Sandy requested not to pitch on this holy day. On September 25th, 1966, Sandy and Ken Holtzman, the 2 greatest pitchers in history, faced off against each other for the first and last time in their careers. Sandy was named the National League Most Valuable Player, and he almost won the Cy Young Award given to the league's best pitcher. Sandy retired at the age of 30 after the 1966 season. He had multiple injuries to his pitching arm, which led to chronic arthritis. Sandy became a hero to many of his fellow Jews by refusing to pitch in the first game of the World Series against the Minnesota Twins because it fell on Yom Kippur.
Wow. So what did you learn from that?
I learned Sandy Koufax. He liked basketball first, and then he tried out for basketball by chance, and he was a great pitcher.
Okay. And if you were the star pitcher and it was the World Series and everybody was counting on you and it was Yom Kippur, what do you think that was like?
You wanted to do the World Series, but you can't because it was Yom Kippur. And you can't work or play on Yom Kippur. Well, you can play, but you can't work.
Okay. Very good.
In 1879, Albert Einstein was born, but also in 1881, his little sister.
Okay, I am doing my project on David Copperfield. He was born David Seth Kotkin in the year of 1956 in Metuchen, New Jersey. His parents ran a company called Corby's, a men's haberdashery. At the age of 10, he began practicing magic as Davino, the boy magician. At the age of 12, he was the youngest magician ever admitted to the Society of American Magicians. Copperfield attended day camp at Camp Harmony in Warren, New Jersey. There, he began practicing magic and ventriloquism. As a teenager, Copperfield became fascinated with Broadway. He often snuck into shows, especially musicals, featuring Stephen Sondheim or Bob Foose. At age 16, he was teaching a college course at a college. At age 18, he dropped out of college to perform the musical The Magic Man. There, he danced, sang, and performed some of his original tricks. The show became the longest-running play in Chicago's history. At age 19, he was headlining at Pagoda Hotel in Honolulu, Hawaii. Copperfield's television career began when he was discovered by Joseph Cates, the producer of Broadway television shows. Cates produced a magic special in 1977 on ABC called The Magic of ABC, hosted by Copperfield. Copperfield played Ken the Magician in the movie Terror Train, a 1980s horror film. On May 7, 2009, Copperfield was dropped by Michael Jackson over a $1 million dispute. Copperfield then denied demanding the money. In the August of 2009, he took his show to Australia. He opened the Magic Underground restaurant. He earned many awards during his